Welcome back to the Azure AD Architecture Deep Dive series. I am Boateng-Kwakye, and I'm a program manager on the Azure AD engineering team at Microsoft.
And my name is Adrian Paredes, and I'm also a program manager on the Azure AD engineering team at Microsoft. In this video, we will discuss the mechanics of how Azure AD works when you access a service connected such as Office 365, or a line of business application, or even a third-party SaaS app when you tie it to conditional access policy requiring Azure MFA. First, we start with a user attempting to access an application. Let's say, for example, a user, Jessica, is trying to access a file on OneDrive for Business from her iPhone and does not have a current active token. In this example, let's assume they passed the authentication phase and are now completing the authorization phase. When a user authenticates, there is a lot of context. For example, the cloud application, the IP address of the request, the client being used, and so on. In addition to that, Azure AD has a lot of signals coming from the Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph that provides a risk of a sign-in and all-up risk. Customers with proper licenses can add these risk levels as part of the policies. Those request and risk contexts are compared against all of the conditional access policies, and then all the controls of the applicable policies will be executed. Let's suppose that the policies require Jessica to do MFA, and that she has not done strong auth yet. This sends back an MFA challenge, a UI response to the user's device. Typically, we see this as a message stating that you will need to complete an MFA challenge first. At the same time, MFA service is invoked. Ajwa, now that they passed the conditional access criteria, how does Azure MFA complete this cycle?
That's an excellent question, and it depends on how the administrator configures the available options. From the user perspective, the authentication services render an HTTP response to Jessica, so she knows that MFA is happening. For example, on your device, you'll be receiving a phone call or a push notification. At the same time, the authentication service interacts with the Azure MFA service, then either calls out to the telco, SMS, or phone call, or using a push notification, which then handles the interaction with the infrastructure, so you don't have to. In the example you mentioned, let's say Jessica gets a message saying she will need to complete an MFA challenge first. Then, within seconds, receives a notification on her Authenticator app on her iPhone, which she then completes. After she completes the MFA challenge, the response is sent back to the authentication services. The authentication service then issues the token and sends it to Jessica's client, which then sends it over to the services, in this case, her file in OneDrive for Business. I'd like to again point out that this is the same process for the Office 365, Microsoft services, as well as line of business apps, and third-party SaaS apps or enterprise apps. Adrian, what did you take away from this?
I love how well Azure MFA integrates with conditional access. It really allows you to create and customize a more secure environment for your organization. Secondly, identity protection adds an extra layer of security using the Microsoft Intelligent Security Graph to determine risk factors in signing in, such as impossible travel, identifying compromised accounts, and more. Lastly, using the Authenticator app with Azure MFA provides more ease of access without compromising security. However, we also do have options using SMS and phone calls.
We hope you found this video useful. Please check our other architecture videos at aka.ms/identityyoutube. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you.